And boy, did he look it tonight against Alex Stewart.
I think Stewart would agree that Tyson's a tough opponent. Stewart, by the way, gave the current heavyweight champ Evander Holyfield quite a run for his money, but he was absolutely no match for Iron Mike Tyson, who appeared to be back in his old form. Former heavyweight champ Mike Tyson hoping to take that final step towards the heavyweight title shot, meeting Alex Stewart at the Convention Center in Atlantic City tonight, the site of some of Tyson's most amazing bouts. And Nick Charles is standing by at ringside. We're going to go to him in just a few moments for the report. This is Tyson's second fight since being stripped of the heavyweight title by James Buster Douglas 10 months ago. Tyson's last fight lasted only 2 minutes and 47 seconds against Henry Tillman, and it lasted shorter tonight against Alex Stewart as he knocked down Alex Stewart, began the fight by throwing a wild right and then knocked Stewart down 8 seconds into the fight with a right to the head. Tyson was looking for the early knockout. He was applying tremendous pressure. Stewart tied him up briefly. Tyson was going for the knockout. Tyson even fell to the floor. Stewart backpedaling desperately in this fight. He was up at 8 after the second knockdown, but was badly hurt, wobbled back at Tyson. Tyson looking for the kill. Stewart tied him up, and then they were separated by the referee, but clinched again, and Tyson got in a couple of left hooks. Stewart was grabbing and wobbling, trying to stave off Tyson, but he finally threw a left hook, and he put Alex Stewart down again, and that was it for this fight. And you see Tyson raising his arms in victory. Tyson, as the winner, his record now goes to 39-1 with 35 knockouts. And interestingly enough, 19 of those knockouts by Mike Tyson have come in the first round. In all 3 of his last fights at the Convention Center in Atlantic City, they have all ended in a first-round knockout. We'll have more from Nick Charles a little bit later on in the show. Tom?
Now the scene, Charlie Steiner. Charlie?
Tom, you're absolutely right. Atlantic City has been very, very good to Mike Tyson over the past 3 years or thereabouts. Of course, you remember his 91-second devastation of Michael Spinks, his 93-second devastation of Carl the Truth Williams, and tonight it lasted 147 seconds, 2 minutes and 27 of the first round, and Alex the Destroyer became Alex the Destroyee. The second punch of the night put Alex Stewart on the canvas. He was wobbling from there, trying to hang on. He was knocked down by a right hand over the head. That was the second knockdown of the fight, and the third knockdown was a left hand. Let's take a look at some of the stills that have been taken here in Atlantic City. That's the second punch of the night. Up against the ropes, down and nearly out went Alex Stewart. He was able to get up, but only to absorb a little more punishment. As you see, it's round 1, and that's all there was. A fast starter, historically, is Mike Tyson. A slow starter is Alex Stewart, and that, in essence, was the story. Meanwhile, let's return live here. Eric Clemens is standing by with Richie Giacchetti, the trainer of Mike Tyson. Eric.
Come on, come on, come on. All right, thank you very much. Richie Giacchetti, your guy went right after Alex Stewart. Was that the game plan all along?
Absolutely. We went out with an overhand right. You know the guy was going to be, he's tall. It worked, and to come back. At the end a little bit, he finished good. One time the referee made me mad. It was a long count. He should have been out, but he let him come back again, and Mike finished him off. But, he's back. He's ready. He's in shape, and there's bigger and better things come because he's the greatest fighter in the world.
What's next for him, Ruddock?
Whatever Don King, when we could decide on right now, we don't pick that right now. Right now, we want Holyfield, whoever, the George Foreman. He's back. Believe me, he's back. Back.
Good enough. Richie, thank you very much. Now let's go back to the podium and Charlie Steiner. Charlie?
As always, cool under fire, Richie Giacchetti. And as well, he should be proud of his man, Mike Tyson, who was clearly focused for this fight. And spending some time with him here last week, there was little question that Mike Tyson was ready for this fight. And he is ready now to resume his pursuit of the heavyweight championship. As you see, Mike Tyson is at the podium in the news conference, and he is about ready to address the assembled multitudes. Let's go now to the news conference back at the other end of the convention center here in Atlantic City. Mike Tyson.
Excuse me? No, I knew he was tough. I knew he was a tough fighter, and he was adorable, but I knew he wasn't going to keep getting up for long. I I'll fight anybody. At this moment, I'm just going to relax for a little while, perhaps take a week off and just relax. 'Cause I trained real hard for this fight. I know I'm not going to fight Holyfield now. I know I'm not going to get a fight now. Excuse me? I felt a little anxious, but I just wanted to explode on him. I was just anxious. I made a mistake and we exchanged, but yeah, it didn't bother me. I was hungry. No, because I knew as soon as I hit him, I hit anybody, they'd go. Well, you know, I mean, just with fighters, I rushed a little too much, but I was okay.
Great.
I hit him with a right hook to the body, the best punch. It wasn't a knockdown. It was a hard punch to the body, but after that, I knew it was over. Yeah, I threw it the right hand to. Yes. Excuse me? I know once I connect, my main aspect is my body punches. I punch harder than the body, believe it or not, how, you know what I mean, I rate it may sound. I punch harder to the body than I do to the head. It's just that I'm sometimes reluctant to punch to the body. But once I catch anybody clean to the body, I don't even worry no more. I'm just, you know, I'll fight anybody. But right now I'm just going to take a week off and then we'll find out from there. Anybody. Excuse me? I just sometimes, I get, you know, I mean, sometimes I just want to rush in and punch. But I'm body punching is my best.
Mike, your game plan going in. You wanted to take him out right away? What was the story going in?
I just wanted to do my job. Alex Stewart, he's a good fighter, and you know what I mean, he's a class act, he's a very nice guy. You know what I mean, but it's too bad it had to happen like that. But I really like him personally. He's a real nice guy. Excuse me? He wasn't scared. He thought he can beat me. He was in better shape now than he was when he fought Holyfield. Well, he looked in better shape. I never lose my confidence, you know what I mean? Even after Tokyo, I used to never lose my confidence, you know what I mean? I used to never lose my confidence because that's what majority of people would love to see that happen. They would love to see this cocky, arrogant, you know what I mean, successful young black kid who's always talking about he can kill everybody, he can beat everybody, also say, well, yeah, I lost to a better man. Bullshit, I'm the best.
All right. All right. That's why they're running from us.
I'm out of here, guys.
Thank you.
Well, Mike Tyson has a flair for words, doesn't he? Well, he certainly is entitled. In his last 3 fights here in Atlantic City, he has fought a grand total of 5 minutes and 31 seconds and has grossed somewhere near $28 million for that kind of work. Of course, he had the big payday with Michael Spinks and a pretty decent payday with Carl the Truth Williams, and he made about $2 million for his 2 minutes and 27 seconds of devastation of Alex the Destroyer Stewart. We will continue our coverage here in Atlantic City after a break. For the moment, the story here is Mike Tyson, 2 minutes, 27 seconds, first round TKO of Alex Stewart. Sports Center continues in just a moment.
ESPN Sports Center, brought to you by Today Chevrolet, who invites you to see why more people are winning with the heartbeat of America.
A quick knockout, 3 knockdowns, first round, over and out. Alex the Destroyer became Alex the Destroyee, and Mike Tyson is now 38-1. Another first-round knockout by another impressive heavyweight tonight, Donovan Razor Ruddock, who dispatched with Mike Rouse in the first round, and he pretty much had his own way with Mr. Rouse, who has now lost 5 of his last 6, and if Mike Rouse were a football coach, he'd be fired. Meanwhile, Donovan Razor Ruddock is joining us. And first of all, I think you made a statement tonight, Donovan, and so did Mike Tyson. First of all, let's talk about your fight and what you were out to prove.
Well, Charles, it's the same thing with any opponent. If they're good or if they're bad, it's the same destiny they're going to have in the ring. That's the object of the game, is to knock him out.
What about Mike Tyson's performance? Alex Stewart, a lot of folks thought was supposed to give him some kind of a tussle. Second punch of the night, and he was down.
Well, you know, I give Alex Stewart a lot of credit, and I also give Mike Tyson a lot of credit. I'm not going to take away anything from Mike Tyson or Alex Stewart. It was a good performance by both men, but they can't have two bad men on the planet, so we're going to have to get it on to find out who is the bad man on the planet.
Well, I guess we are now about ready to have this battle of the baddest, and when and how is this going to come about, you and Mike Tyson?
Well, hopefully, I hope the WBC will strip Evander Holyfield, that me and Mike Tyson will fight for the vacant title, and that's the way that I would hope it to go.
Why do you suppose it would enhance your product to strip Holyfield and fight for a title that is being created?
Hold on. First of all, I do not think that George Foreman have the right to get the next shot at the title. Evander Holyfield signed the fight before the Buster Douglas and Evander Holyfield, so therefore they're going to go through with it, which Mike Tyson should have the next defense, and they're going the other way. If Foreman win the title, he's going to take it to Europe, and we're never going to see him in the United States for a while. You're going to set me back another 2 years, and I've been sitting here waiting for the longest time. Something's got to be done now.
Do you have any timetable as to when you and Tyson might meet?
Well, hopefully we should meet in the middle of next year.
Fair enough. Donovan Razor Ruddock, thanks very much. Also tonight,
thank you, Charles.
Another impressive performance by Julio Cesar Chavez, who had a little more trouble perhaps than he expected to have against the Korean Kun Yuk An. Chavez came out, and in the first round, An was fairly well impressive, but in the second round, 2 knockdowns, and An was on the canvas. And that is the second knockdown. In the third round, An was unable to continue. And Julio Cesar Chavez is now 71-0 and 54 knockouts. And pound for pound, they say Julio Cesar Chavez is the best fighter on the planet. Also on the card tonight, Simon Brown, and he was a first-round TKO winner over the unknown and continues to be anonymous Ozzie O'Neill. So it was pretty much a beauty pageant tonight for Don King's stable of fighters. Mike Tyson won in 1 round. Razor Ruddock won in 1 round. Alex Stewart, of course, is... there you see Alex Stewart at the news conference. That is his daughter, and Alex Stewart at least goes home a defeated man, but if nothing else, a rich man. He made $850,000 tonight. We'll be back in just a minute.
Known as boxing news. What else? The WBC, that's the World Boxing Council to you and me, wants heavyweight champ Evander Holyfield to fight Mike Tyson as his first title defense. But Holyfield, you see, as we all know, is going to fight George Foreman in April. So the WBC is going to arbitration to try and force Holyfield to see things their way. If the WBC wins the arbitration and Holyfield fights Foreman instead of Tyson, then he would be stripped of the WBC title. If that is the case, the WBC belt would go to the winner of the Tyson-Razor Ruddock fight March 18th.